Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Bella and this is Bottom of the Glass. So before I get into the video, first I wanted to talk a little bit about the name of my channel because I realized the other day I've made 3 videos and I still haven't explained why I decided to call this channel Bottom of the Glass. And so basically this is from a quote by Werner Heisenberg. If you don't know who he is one of the most famous physicists. He's known for his Heisenberg uncertainty principle, which was revolutionary for quantum mechanics. And I'm going to read you the quote. This is probably my favorite quote of all time. When I read this quote, I just knew that this had to be the name for this channel because I'd been struggling to come up with a name for this channel. I was like, I want it to be special, but everything I was coming up with just wasn't making me feel it. And then I read this and I was like, this has to be the name. So the quote is, "The first gulp from the glass of natural sciences will make you an atheist. But at the bottom of the glass, God is waiting for you." So if you have been keeping up with my channel or if you know me in person, you can probably understand a little bit about why this quote is so important to me, because I'm a very science-minded person. I love science. I want to be a doctor one day, inshallah, but for a little bit I struggled with it, like mentally. Okay, well, how does my love for science fit in with my love for God? And obviously my love for God comes first, but if there's a way for that to fit in with my love for science, then I want to know what that way is. And so I found that way. I found that way freshman year of high school. I took a Christian scripture class, best class I've ever taken. And I learned in that class that my faith and my favorite subject actually didn't oppose each other. And that within the field of science, there is so much evidence for God that I started to realize that the atheists who claim that they don't believe in God because they believe in science actually don't know as much about science or religion as they think they did. Because if you really were a true scientist like Heisenberg, true scientist like Einstein, then it's almost impossible not to see God in every aspect of science. God created the natural world. The definition of science is observation of the natural world. So technically, science is just the observation of God. And that's how I see it. And so I've talked about that on my channel, especially in my video I made about the Big Bang Theory and why Genesis and the Big Bang Theory say the same thing. And so that's a little context too. I believe that the Big Bang Theory is an explanation for how God used the elements and what our physical world is made of to carry out Genesis. And it was actually, if you haven't watched my video and you didn't know this, the Big Bang Theory was theorized by a Catholic priest. Father George Lemaitre theorized the Big Bang Theory. He was both a physicist and a priest. And so for me, that's super inspiring because I want to be both a scientist, but also, you know, a Christian. So today's video is sort of a follow-up to that video I made that I just mentioned. Because I feel like since I made that video, I've learned even more about science and my faith, and I really just wanted to share this on this channel because this is where I post a lot of my testimony. And so I might make this not an official series, but I'm gonna, just heads up, I'm probably gonna come on this channel and talk about this again because it's so real. And just this year has really been a revelation for me because I've just started to realize that everything I thought I knew about science and God is just absolutely been flipped upside down. Because like I said, science, I've realized, is just another way to observe God. And so I'm gonna talk about one of those observations that we can make right now, actually. So I was reading something, I can't remember, I think I was like scrolling on TikTok and I saw this about stars in our human body and stardust. And I saw this quote that said, about 86% of our mass is stardust. Every atom of oxygen in our lungs, of carbon in our muscles, of calcium in our bones, of iron in our blood, was created inside a star before Earth was born. Hydrogen and helium, the lightest elements, were produced in the Big Bang. Almost all of the other heavier elements were produced inside stars. So I was reading this and I was like, wait, this is saying we're made of stardust? Oh my gosh. You are dust, and to dust you shall return. And I had a moment where I just kind of like freaked out for a second. I ran downstairs and I told my mom what I just told you, and she was like, oh my goodness. Like, no way. We kind of were like, whoa, like, you know those moments where you get kind of like chills? I got chills and I was like, this is so incredibly real. And then I saw something else. It keeps going, and that's what I'm saying. I feel like I have to make this an ongoing series. I'll just come on, I guess, and talk about it like when I learn something else. But I saw something else say that God tells us in the Bible that atoms, like atoms, like you learn about in chemistry, are real. And it said, go read Hebrews 11:3. So I went up, I looked up Hebrews 11:3. Sure enough, it says, by faith we understand that the universe was formed at God's command, so that what is seen was not made out of what was visible. Well, that makes sense. What we see, like our body is made out of like, you know, our skin, like our tissues, but we can't see what like makes up that, like the cells and the atoms. We can't like just see it. So that makes perfect sense. What is seen was not made out of what is visible. And what's crazy about this is that these are things that I've been hearing since I was little that I never like sort of caught on to. So I've been saying the Nicene Creed forever. Like I grew up Catholic, like I'm part of the Assyrian Church of the East as well, but I spent a lot of my childhood in Catholic Church. And in the Nicene Creed, we say, I believe in the Father Almighty, the maker of heaven and earth, of all things, visible and invisible. And I just kind of assumed like, okay, visible meaning like what we see, obviously. Invisible probably meaning like your spirit and your soul. But that's not all he meant. He also meant the smaller components that make up our world, like the atoms and like the cells. And the same thing with, I mean, to dust, you are dust, and to dust you shall return. I hear that every single Ash Wednesday. And I'm pretty sure I'd heard the fact about stardust before, but for some reason it just clicked at one point. I read it and I put them together and I was just like, wow, 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 wow. God makes no mistakes. Every single word in the Bible that he chose to use means something, and he chose those words for a reason. And it's just really beautiful when you study God, the way that your relationship grows, because like I said, I learned freshman year about a lot about the way that God works through science, but it wasn't until this year that I started to really study it on my own. And it's just such like its own topic. Like I got asked on one of my college applications, they were like, if you could teach a class in college, what would it be? And I was like, it would have to be about why science is evidence for God, because this is just such a never-ending topic. And if anyone watches this video and they have something that they would like to add in the comments, please add it, because I've seen so many, like I'm probably forgetting, but like I see them on TikTok all the time where like-minded people are saying like, yeah, like this theory is, basically compares to this verse in the Bible. And it's so beautiful to see, people like me who are Christian, but also very science oriented, who use their knowledge for their faith. Everybody has a calling. Like for me personally, I really strongly feel that my calling is something in STEM. Like I said, I want to go into the healthcare field, but that's never our true calling, right? Like my calling isn't just like if I want to be a doctor. It's not just to be a doctor. Maybe my calling is to save someone's life that really needed to be saved because maybe they needed more time to get close with God. Or maybe my calling was to, I follow these girls on Instagram and I love their YouTube videos, but their channel is called Girls Gone Bible instead of Girls Gone Wild. It's really cute. But they had a video about your purpose. And she was saying, because the girls, they've both been in the acting industry, I think. And so she was saying, for the longest time, I thought my purpose was to be an actress. But then I realized that God made me an actress because my true purpose was to spread the gospel. So at the end of the day, your true purpose is always going to link back to God. Because at the end of the day, you are dust, and to dust you shall return. Any of your physical purposes don't really matter. It's your spiritual purposes that count. So thank you so much for watching this video. Like I said, expect more videos like this. It's something that I really have enjoyed talking about, and I really want to hear about what you guys know about the subject, God and religion and science. I want to hear about it in the comments. Also, if there's any other topics that you want me to research or that you want me to talk about, comments for that. But again, thank you so much for watching. God be with you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.